Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Live Life to the Fullest. This is your weekly dose of inspiration, challenging oneself to be intentional. I invite you every Saturday night at 9 p.m. as I share my reflections for the day in the hope that I get to inspire and empower you to live life to the fullest. This year, I feature ordinary people in their extraordinary way and how they are contributing to their communities. Why am I doing this? Because for the past 3 years, I saw the benefit of living intentionally. Everything that I do is aligned to my purpose, passions, and core values. And also, I want you to benefit from it. Episode 438 of Live Life to the Fullest, our topic is mindfulness hacks for sleeping well. We have a very interesting guest for tonight. She is a licensed RCI psychologist from India and is a trauma and grief specialist. She is also a facilitator who has learned mindfulness from Brown University. Wow! And she is a mother of 2 human kids and 3 cats. Friends, help me welcome here at Live Life to the Fullest a good friend and a fellow BNI member here in the Philippines. Let's all welcome Coach Sameera Sachdev.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram. Hello. How are
Hello,
you?
everyone. And kumusta?
Kamusta? What are you grateful for today?
Grateful for the fact that I have a family that supports me and a great schedule, and people around me understand why I get late or why I can't attend them. Because I'm literally was sitting in a meeting and I could stop it and say, I really need to work on something else because I've committed somewhere else, and they understood. And I guess that's beautiful. That's what I'm grateful for. Having great and highly, amazingly vibrational people around.
Thank you for sharing, Samira. Okay, so let's get on with our show by asking you this question. So please give us a brief background about yourself. Share as to how and why you are in the wellness industry.
So, how is very interesting. Why is also very interesting. So, how is because I was really not enjoying my corporate job as a ethics officer, training and development, learning and development, operational. So I was not able to really make the kind of impact I wanted to make, whether it was at work or in people or in teams, because the expectation from an employee is very different than an expectation from a therapist. So I therefore, did whatever I had to do. That's how it happened. Why it happened was because why grief and trauma happened. That's because I went through a lot of grief and trauma. I lost a lot, um, and I saw it going, and I could not understand why it was happening to me. Just like anybody else, I could blame the whole world, and I saw it was not helping because the whole world was not deciding to change anything about it. And I could feel that I was really very depressed and anxious and isolated. And so I decided that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn from this experience. And then whatever I learn, I interpret it and research on it. And bit by bit, create a process out of it that will customize for everyone who comes to my practice. Because one thing that I was sure of that I was not the only one in that space of darkness. There were just so many, and I feel that the best person to take them out is the person who's seen the darkness. So there.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Samira. Yeah, indeed, it is true that sometimes you're led to something. You're led to your calling because you yourself have actually experienced it and you want to pay it forward. You want to help more people overcome the same situation that you went through. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so this is an interesting topic for those who are watching us right now. It's already evening, and I'm sure a lot of people are still awake at night and are having difficulty sleeping. So, what are some of the 3 tips that you can actually share to us so that we can actually improve the way we sleep?
So before I go into the tips, let me give you a little bit of context on why am I talking about sleep.
Okay.
So when clients would come to me with their grief and trauma, one of the things that would present itself so direly, and they won't even care about it consciously because they were more worried about their loss, was that they were not able to sleep. And while they were not able to sleep, I could, the research has also shown that the lesser sleep you have, the less focus and concentration you have. It impacts almost all faculties of your body, including decision making, problem solving, emotional regulation, how your brain processes things, how your brain produces them, how it retains them, which is your memory. So, the first thing I would always ask my clients, okay, how much are you sleeping? Because I could understand with the haggardness in the story they would tell me that, okay, you know what, they've not been sleeping. And anything I do at this point in time will just bounce back because they don't have the faculties active. So what I did was I started working on researching on and working on sleep, and I bumped into this beautiful program, mindfulness based stress reduction training in Brown University, which is an Ivy League college. And I went into the research work, I went into their courses, and I certified myself as one of the only meditation facilitators from the university, Philippines, and also India. And so with them, I created programs that would help people in pain management, sleep, in emotional regulation, in doing better decision making. Because these five faculties, I find them so important because either my clients would not sleep and become completely procrastinating and numb, and they would not know why it was really happening, or they would become extremely anxious because they were procrastinating. So it was very much a biggest stall that I had to take care of. And then I saw I'm really good at it because I was able to put people off to sleep in my first session. And that made me feel very confident about the practices that I have. So there you go. So 3 tips now for
Yes.
for sleeping, right? So let's say you're not able to sleep. Now, what we do is usually when we are not able to sleep, our brain goes towards reasons. Oh, I must have had this cup of coffee, or this food doesn't suit me, or maybe I took a nap in the afternoon, or maybe I'm pressured about this one submission I have in the morning. This is called cause and effect thinking. And we are trained on this cause and effect thinking. And it has, of course, given us so much of happiness, Um, it gave us so many different ways of energy because we figured out that, if you get the sun, you can get the solar energy, etc. Good. But it does not work always. It cannot be the only thinking style you have when you are in a crisis. So, crisis like you're not able to do a basic bodily function like sleep does not need a cause and effect. Because the more you find the causes, the more you space out sleep. Because now your brain is processing all the reasons why it should not sleep. And guess who's forcing it to do? You. So the first thing to do, the first step is to stop doing cause and effect. And remember that scientifically, your body is made up of a circadian rhythm, which is like the best clock you could have in this world, that has a 24-hour cycle, is quite adaptive as well, as we can see. And at the same time, I would like to quote, it's adaptive, but it's not as effective if you're sleeping in the day and up in the night, and we'll talk about that later. But in a usual normal day, it's so efficient. Even if you don't want to sleep, it'll put you off to sleep because it knows that you're supposed to sleep. And the reason for that is because when we were hunters and gatherers and there was no light and the human beings have not invaded the light like we have now. Now we have light and we have invaded it completely. Now we can be up in the night, we can party in the night, we can work in the night, we know whatever we want to do in the night, right? But when we were gatherers and hunters, we could not do anything in the night because it was so dark. And there were
Yes.
predators outside. So the only thing we could do was to go back in that cave, if we had one, or under the tree and keep quiet. And so our body's circadian rhythm realize this is the time I need to produce, hormones that make this body relax and sleep. So it's in the DNA for those many years. That's around 75,000 years. If I just pick up Homo sapiens, if I go behind, it's even further. So looking at that, don't deny that your DNA will not work. It will put you off to sleep. So remember that science and get rid of cause and effect. So those are two things already. Now the third thing is to have consistency. Now the consistency is important because of two things. Number one, you don't want to confuse your circadian rhythm. Number two, you don't want to, consistency is also important because you do want to encourage your brain to produce melatonin and other hormones that make you relax at the same time every day. So sleeping at the same time every day or similar time every day or getting up at a similar time every day helps our brain to get, it's exercising the same muscle every day. So it knows exactly that at 8 p.m. I need to, put this body down. And so there. So consistency, know your science, trust it. And number one is to remember that, the cause and effect the cause and effect thinking does not work when you're wanting to sleep better.
Wow.
And you've not been sleeping better.
Yeah, very helpful. So those tips by Sameera is somehow those are things that it's not common that whenever I get to engage with wellness coaches, they will always say, oh, don't drink too much coffee, this and that. But in this case, Sameera would tell us that we should erase the thinking on cause and effect. And
correct. Like, don't think about, okay, I had that cup of coffee, that's why I can't sleep. Oh, I'm stressed about this, that's why I can't sleep. That's not helping. You are encouraging, you're activating a very different part of your brain. And you don't want to, because that part of your brain would not let the sleep happen. So forget the cause and effect. That's the first thing.
Yeah,
So
that's a very important tip that we can reflect on and see if probably that's the one causing us not to sleep anyway. Right? So
yes.
thank you. Thank you for that. This question is my next question is all about what's the biggest challenge in getting quality sleep?
Today, for everybody, as we compare ourselves with everyone. So when we're watching, even when we say that we are drowning ourselves into Instagram, YouTube shorts, or whatever it is, TikTok, we're just in a way saying that we're taking time off specifically compare in education, in how we talk, how we look, how we speak, how we study, how our kids are, how our house is, how is our diet, what kind of vegetables, what not. And the reason behind it is at a cost of something, is patriarchy, because it is teaching us to compete. And when we compete, we compare. So the reason for all the problems, the major reason is interpersonal skills. But the problem why interpersonal skills happen is because we compete and we compare. And so we are never able to really develop interpersonal skills. We are able to develop jealousy. We are able to develop, greed, or we are able to develop overthinking. or we're able to develop striving and driving and judgment, speed, right? And not stillness or flow, or like you said, intentionality. We don't. The major reason, the biggest reason is patriarchy. And then our tendency to compete and compare. So when you're watching Instagram in the night, or you're watching day, or even if you're playing the video game, it's just one way to distract yourself either from competing, or it's just one way to subtly and passive compete with others.
Wow, interesting. Thank you for that insight, Sameera. Yeah, it is true, right? So if you wanna have quality sleep, stop comparing and competing. Stop exposing yourself to triggers that will actually move you to thinking that way, right? And so often I am also guilty of that. The more I expose myself to watching, exposing myself to social media and all those, and it triggers a lot of thinking, and that doesn't help me in sleeping, right? In having a quality sleep. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so we're about to wrap up our uh our interview, but before I ask you this last question, I'd like to ask for a sample, if that's okay. Sabira, in terms of mindfulness, I think it's normal that we are encouraged to do some form of meditation. So for you, can you give us like a sample, a quick sample of a meditation that is best for sleeping?
Could it be, does it have to be a meditation, or could it be any mindfulness practice?
Any that you think can be helpful for our audience.
This is what I do before I sleep, and I really sleep. I really tell you. So number one is that I don't really have time to watch gadgets, so that's very beautiful. And then at night, I lie down. I, of course, switch off all the lights and temperature. And I sit down and I breathe and I pick up intention every night. That's me trying to train myself. It's like, for example, I don't know if you guys do this, but if you're having any problems with your partner, this is kind of really wrong. So, if you're having any problems with your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, let's say your parents, or at work with someone, or maybe your children, whichever, or children having problems with their parents. Um, so according to, this is not me just making it up or some spiritual stuff. This is coming from Jungian psychology, so cultural psychology of collective consciousness. So what I do is I pick up an intention, what I really want. I really want this. What I really want to be manifest. And I count it. I make it a number. So for example, if I want, let's say I want Janice to connect with me for 5. Let's say. Okay, so I'll give it a number, and I'll say 1. I close my eyes and I'll just say 1. And I'll focus on that interval. 1, 2, same thing, 3, 4. And I'll do that 11 times. So 11 times I'll do the same. 11 or 17. 17 is better. And I'll give you there's a scientific research on this. So 17 is better. So 17 times I'll do that. Okay. And usually by the time I'm finished with 17, I sleep. And what am I doing is that in the collective subconscious, I'm putting for the next day what I'm also leaving behind all the baggage I have from the day. So I'm not thinking about all the dirty, contaminated things that happen. But I'm shifting intentionally towards this one thought I want. And most of the people don't know what they want. Actually, they don't know how to define it. Most of the people say, I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel poor. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my partner. Like that. That's what you don't want.
Yeah.
So it's very important to define what you want. It's very difficult for people sometimes. So do chat up and let me know if I can help you doing that sometime, because it's very important to know what you want and how to define it. And then and say that for 17 seconds and look at the magic of sleeping. Because again you are exercising the brain of the muscle of the brain, which is uh, activating the part of the brain called the medial prefrontal cortex that looks at the thoughts like a what do you call that? Like a light down. So it's looking at the thoughts. I say a certain shift in the thoughts. So none of the thoughts are threatening. So it's happy. All right, it's happy. So there you go. The hormone to relax you and make you happy is produced. As soon as that happens, there is another part of your brain which is supposed to pressurize the glands at the endocrine gland to produce melatonin. That gets activated. And then you sleep. There is a science to sleep. It's very scientific.
Wow, very helpful. Wow, thank you, Sameera, for that tip, for that showing us how you do it to have more quality sleep. I just was recalling the time when I was younger. My parents would tell me, you can sleep, okay, you count sheep. Right? They let us count how many ships are already passing in front of us. Like, okay, that's probably, it makes sense, right? Before, I don't question
Yes.
that idea, but now that you've mentioned about counting, then probably it makes sense. It has a really a purpose. Wow, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
All
Before
right.
we are rearing to the end of our interview, my last question for you is, what is that one message that you want to leave to our audience with regards to our topic about mindfulness hacks for sleeping well?
I mean, don't take your sleep casually. It's very serious. Sleep or not sleeping enough or compromising on the quality of sleep is scientifically proved to be related to so many cancers, including breast cancer, cancer of lungs, cancer of kidney. And these are big illnesses you don't even want. Of course, it reduces the immunity and the other cognitive faculties I mentioned earlier. It also reduces the insulin. It makes you pre-diabetic sooner than you could ever imagine. Sleeping is one way of showing how much you love yourself. It's not an option. It's not a choice. It's a part of your being and my being and everyone else's being. So don't take it like a chitika, it doesn't matter if you're not able to sleep. I'll sleep to a lot of people tell me, oh, it's okay, I did not sleep here. I'll sleep tomorrow. I'll sleep more. Guess what? It doesn't help. It doesn't work. There is no making up for it.
Yeah.
That hurts. That's very good.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that, Samira, for stressing the point that sleep is really essential to live a happy and abundant life, right? Okay. So, for our viewers who want or are interested to get in touch with you, Samira, how do they get in touch with you?
So I would, of course, give you all my contact information, including my number, my business number, but you could always ping me on my Instagram and follow me at Sameera Sachdev Mind on Instagram and on Facebook. I also have a website with the same name, Sameera Sachdev. mind. I take one-to-one sessions, group sessions, and online sessions as well. Um, I also have a mindfulness club where we do meditation every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. So you could join that mindfulness club. It's not a lot of money, so don't worry. Something that will bring you a lot of money. I will send all the information and the links to you guys through channels.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sameera, for your time, your energy, and for your sharing your knowledge with us and your experience when it comes to the wellness industry. It really is something valuable and that you have added value to this show, because we do believe that for us to live life to the fullest, one has to really take care of oneself, really love yourself, and it is not only about the food that we eat, and it's also important that we get the right sleep for us, right? Yeah, because last week we talked about taking care of our eyes. I think I'm going into the space of the wellness industry because as part of what we do, we want to take care of every aspect of our life, and so that we maintain the relationships that we have with our loved ones, and we get to serve more people, because I always believe that if you have big dreams in life but you're not well or you're dying already, how can you serve other people, and can you pursue your calling? So this has been your host for Live Life to the Fullest. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions for us, feel free to message us in the comment section, and or message me directly. God bless everyone. Good night. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, I will see you again. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care, guys.